Quote, presidents are not kings and plaintiff is not president. That blow to former President Trump from a federal judge last night, halting Trump's efforts to block White House documents that could potentially shed light on his activities leading up to and the day of the deadly insurrection. It's a win for the January 6th House committee, though Trump is going to appeal it. But as Trump teases a possible 2024 run for president, CNN's Tom Foreman reports the Republican Party and its donors need to decide whether or not they want to jump back on the Trump train.
Thank you, Doug. It's a whopping amount, even in big money politics. Close to $1 million a week, according to the Washington Post. That is how fast donations are pouring in for the man who lost the last presidential election and has yet to declare he's in the next one.
One of the things raising money this early does is it shows his power to the party. And I think you're seeing that effect in terms of people being afraid to take him on.
Team Trump is raking in donations through the Save America Political Action Committee, the Save America Joint Fundraising Committee, the Make America Great Again Super PAC, and others. Collectively, his political groups reported more than $100 million on hand this past summer.
Hillary conceded. I never conceded. Never.
Powering it all is an energetic campaign of direct solicitation emails, promising signed baseballs, T-shirts, Christmas decorations like this stocking for $50, all feeding off supporters who have embraced the big lie.
The election was stolen from us.
Trump won in a landslide.
And there are ads, especially on Facebook, where Trump himself has been banned, but his fundraisers have not, calling the 2020 election corrupt, tainted, and Trump the true president. Some have continued the controversial practice of pre-checked boxes, which can unwittingly lead supporters into automatically increasing their donations. As far as spending the sizable war chest, the Trump Organization has reported giving little to Republican candidates, even as the party hopes to regain congressional majorities in next year's midterm election. And when it comes to 2024, the limits on donors, the demand for reporting, the rules about spending get more complicated the moment he declares his candidacy. So he's still playing coy.
Make America great again. Dash, slash, comma, again. Make America great again. I don't know.
We got a late notice from one of the Trump spokespeople who say he does indeed remain committed to helping the Republican Party retake Congress next year, and they say nobody else is better at that than the former president. That said, what you don't hear anymore, Jake, is what Donald Trump started his campaign with, a pledge that he was so wealthy he'd pay for everything himself and not be out shilling for money like other politicians. That seems to have gone by the wayside.
Along with many other things. Tom Foreman, thank you so much. Let's discuss with my august panel. So, Paul, former President Trump just teased a 2024 run to Fox, saying, quote, I think a lot of people will be very happy, unquote, with his decision. How does this affect the Republican Party?
Well, I think he's going to run. And that's not just me from the outside.
Sure.
Talk to people close to Trump. They say it's close to 100% certainty that he's going to run. That's going to chill, I think, many other Republicans from getting in the race. And it's going to further solidify what was once a great political party is now it's become a political death cult of personality around Donald Trump. And it's lamentable for the Republicans. It's dangerous for the country. But I think it's almost certain to happen.
And what, as a Republican, what do you think?
Like Paul said, people around him close to Trump are indicating and signaling that he will run. And keeping that conversation alive and keeping the rumors around, that helps with the fundraising. It helps with them growing the supporters for Trump as if he needs that help. And as he said, it freezes out the field. The concern from a traditional Republican or a rational Republican standpoint is, under Trump and his leadership, we lost the House, the Senate, and the White House. And his getting back on board is not going to change the dynamics. If we didn't learn anything else, we learned an important lesson in Virginia. People have gone past the Trump train. They're going back to the policies that unite this party and this country and not the personalities that divide us. And what we need to do moving forward as Republicans is not just look at who is going to rev up the base and be the strong supporter and candidate for the primary. We need someone who's going to win in the general election. And I don't see that's the way to do it with Donald Trump.
You know, you saw Chris Christie out there, though, saying, you know, I'm not going to let Donald Trump determine my potential presidential candidacy. If you don't think you can take on Donald Trump, you shouldn't run. And so he's saying to others, you know, don't let him freeze the field. However, as we all know, Donald Trump is hugely popular with the Republican base, and that's why a lot of folks are hanging back.
But even if he did decide to run, as we're talking about here, and he may have already said, but even if he says that he will be running, you're talking about freezing the field. There are realistically Republicans like Nikki Haley who are unlikely to run if he gets into the race. There are clashes like with Ron DeSantis. It would be unclear what would happen if he would get into the race. At the same time, there are folks like Mike Pence who would still probably get in the race, even if Donald Trump were running. So that's not to say that he would be the only candidate if he were to run in 2024, but there are Republicans who would back off.
What about what this does to the Republican Party beyond the candidates that choose to run or not? What does this do in terms of, there are a lot of Republicans, look, to be clear, very few Republicans have been courageous when it comes to taking on the indecency of Donald Trump and the lies of Donald Trump. You know, you could name them in one hand, list them in one hand. But that said, a lot of Republicans do want to move on and want to have a Glenn Youngkin type Republicanism, which is Trump policies per se, conservative judges, tax cuts, et cetera, but much more traditional, as you put it. Would you say rational?
Rational.
Sane,
yes.
not, you know, openly bigoted. What does this do to the GOP?
I think the key that we need to remember with Virginia is there's the new special interest group out there, right? It's parents. Parents are concerned with their education, they're concerned with safety, they're concerned with COVID. And until there's a candidate that comes forward with parents at top of mind, pocketbook issues at top of mind, public safety at top of mind, as well as education, they're not going to rise to the top. And I think that's the goal moving forward, is focus on those important issues.
So, but can I say, I want to, control room, I'm going to go to question 6 here, because I want you to take a listen to a Republican in Arizona who is running for governor and has been endorsed by Donald Trump, discussing the vaccine mandate that the Biden administration has put forward and through OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Take a listen.
If I were governor right now and he sent his OSHA goons to this state to violate our civil rights, I would meet them at the airport with our DPS or state police and arrest them.
I mean, that is this new tide of truly Trump Republicans.
Well, it harkens back to nullification, which is what led us into the Civil War. I'm sorry to be so dramatic, but the notion that a state governor can stop federal safety and health administrators from protecting the health and safety of American citizens is pretty crazy. And she seems to be hinting at force. I mean, she didn't say, I'll send my bureaucrats or my lawyers.
She says, send our state police and arrest them.
Right.
She said.
That's first off, it's plainly unconstitutional, and perhaps this distinguished lady doesn't want to be a part of our federal union anymore, but the people of Arizona probably do.
But she called them goons? I mean, this is the language of
OSHA goons, a phrase that has never been used before.
So this is the anti-government language of Donald Trump.
Right.
And it is, you know, she is imitating Donald Trump. And there are candidates all over who are doing the same thing because anything is acceptable. Any language is acceptable. And, you know, it's the bullying language. It's coming from a woman. There you go.
What do you hear from Republicans on Capitol Hill, Republicans out in the states, about the future of their party if Donald Trump continues to wield the power he does, if Donald Trump continues to endorse candidates like this woman who's obviously troubled in some sort?
Well, Republicans are doing their own thing. We've seen it with Senate Majority, not Minority Leader, now former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. At the same time, Kevin McCarthy has welcomed Trump's support when it comes to House races. But certainly the NRCC is also doing their own thing, even in areas where the president is challenging some of their members. And so, Jake, I did just want to add, though, that there is a debate, though, that's going on in the Democratic Party right now about how to respond to former President Trump and whether, this was even before Virginia, about whether you should focus on Trump and Trumpism as a way for Democrats to succeed in the 2022 elections. And there is a school of thought that even if you don't focus on Trump himself, that you should focus on Trumpism because of some of the things that you're talking about today.
And speaking of Trumpism, look, Congressman Paul Gosar was out there before Donald Trump came on the scene, But he then put out that tweet in which he showed a photoshopped anime character of himself killing a photoshopped anime character of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. He did take down the tweet last night. Gosar tried to clarify, saying it was, quote, truly a symbolic portrayal of a fight over immigration policy.
Where's Kevin McCarthy? Right. Where is he on this? I mean, this is outrageous. Even his own sister, Gosar's own sister, called him a sociopath yesterday. I mean, where is the leadership of the Republican Party saying that this is unacceptable, that we can't do this? That excuse is ridiculous. This wasn't about immigration. We all know that.
If he wants to have a discussion and debate about immigration, have a policy discussion about immigration. Have one about Afghanistan. Have one about COVID. Have one about all these issues that we rightfully have policy conflicts with AOC and the progressives. Let's have those conversations.